All right, AP Environmental. I've got a quick video for you guys today. This one will not take me very long to get through, as long as I find it. Yes, I'm having a bad hair day, so sorry. It's like 8:30 at night, and I'm making this video and getting ready to go to bed. But anyway, let me find this real quick. Where are you? Ah, there it is. Fertilizer use. All right. So this one's going to be a quickie because we've talked a lot about fertilizers this year. So I don't really have to spend a ton of time on this because I think you guys know a lot of this stuff already. So again, we're just going to continue with our discussion about the Green Revolution. So again, we've talked about several of these techniques already. Again, feeding 7.8 billion people, not an easy task. We got to use mechanization. We got to use monocropping. We got to use pesticides. We got to use GMOs, and we got to use fertilizer. All right, irrigation will be the last one that we talk about. That's kind of a big one. Anyway, so let's get into fertilizers real quick here. So global fertilizer use, around the world and in the U.S. at an all-time high. Why is that? Mainly because fertilizers are like super readily available. We just have tons of this stuff. I mean, it's manufactured all over the place. Another one is there's a high demand for food. So I mean, you got 7.8 billion people; they all got to eat, right? So high demand for food, got to grow food fast, and we got to use fertilizer. Now, the other big reason why we use so much fertilizer is because of what we've done to our soil. The soil has been depleted so badly just by overuse. All the nutrients that normally are in the soil, they're just gone because we've planted and harvested over and over and over again, that we've just stripped the soil of all of its nutrient value. So to combat that, we have to use fertilizers, because there's not really much fertile soil left on the planet. Now, fertilizers, it doesn't really matter what type or what brand or whatever. Pretty much, you're going to find three ingredients, in fertilizers: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And these are three things, especially the first two, that really promote plant growth. Without those things, plants definitely cannot grow. So they're kind of like limiting nutrients for plants. But again, we already know that. There's two general types of fertilizer. The first one is what we call organic or natural fertilizer. And there's kind of a couple different types that you probably should know. One's called brown manure. Basically that's animal waste, cow manure or whatever. The other one is called green manure, which is made from plants, specifically like legumes, which I've talked about before, um, beans and peas and things like that that are legume plants. Those are really rich in nitrogen because they have a lot of nitrogen fixing bacteria in their roots, or near their roots. So those are really good plants, or the material from those plants makes really good organic fertilizer. So just make sure we know the difference between brown and green. Brown comes from plant, or green comes from plants. Brown comes from animals. Now the other type is synthetic. Synthetic fertilizers are made in basically they're manufactured. They're made in a factory. There are some advantages of synthetics. One, they're designed for easy application. You can spray them. They can be in like pellet form, like you see in this picture here. But you can easily just apply these things to the soil. So that's one big advantage. They can also be designed for specific types of plants. So they might make specific fertilizers for corn plants or soybean plants, or for your lawn, for example. Like your parents might go to Home Depot and buy some Scott's fertilizer or something. It's all designed for grasses. And also, plants can just easily absorb these fertilizers, much easier than organic fertilizers. I'll explain why on the next slide. So this here is kind of showing us the difference between organic in synthetic fertilizers. I first want to look at the synthetic side here. Okay, synthetic fertilizers are designed to just feed directly to the plant. So, if you sprinkle some synthetic fertilizer, on the lawn or near the plant, those fertilizers go directly into the roots very quickly, and the plant absorbs those nutrients, which is going to help it grow. Now, organics, on the other hand, are a little bit different. Um, and the biggest reason why is because organic fertilizers don't just feed the plant, they actually feed other things that are in the soil as well. Things like bacteria and other organisms, that live in the soil. They provide nutrients for those organisms as well. So all of these microorganisms that live in the soil, once they get their nutrients, then they can produce things that the plant can use as well. The problem with this is it's much slower. It's way healthier. Not only, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's healthier for the plant, but it's healthier for the soil to use organics because we feed the soil and we feed the plant. Whereas in synthetics, we're just feeding the plant. So, I mean, I guess that's okay because we are trying to grow food, but if we want to do it in a more sustainable way that helps our soil and it helps us grow food, then organics is probably the way to go. So there is a difference between the two. Um, but if we're trying to, again, mass produce food and grow it as quickly as we can, synthetics are probably going to be more commonly used compared to the organic stuff. All right. So last couple things here, real quick. Just benefits and um, some problems with fertilizers. I guess the big benefit would be that we can feed the world, right? And we can without fertilizer, we probably couldn't feed half the world's population. So that's like probably the most important thing. The negatives: manufacturing fertilizers, especially the synthetic stuff, requires lots of fossil fuels. We've talked about this before. If we overuse fertilizers, they can end up into waterways like rivers and lakes, and that can lead to eutrophication and algae blooms and all that stuff, right? Synthetic fertilizers don't feed the soil; they only feed the plant, so that's kind of a negative. Organic fertilizers can't be absorbed quickly. So, that's kind of I guess, a big detriment of organics compared to synthetics. But that's pretty much it, guys, for these notes today. I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about fertilizers. Make sure we know why they're so important, kind of pros and cons, different types. It should be a nice, easy lesson here for you guys today. All right, guys, have a good day, and I will see you soon.